How you doing, YouTube? It's Bill from Bill Development. This is my 432nd weekly update. I just looked at it and I already forgot. Hang on. Problem is I skipped a couple weeks there. Yes, 432nd weekly update. Yeah. Had a busy couple weeks here, to say the least. Notably last weekend, where I went to Valdosta, where South Georgia's Strongest Man was having its, I guess you would call that the inaugural show, which I had quite a big hand in, more than I like to say, because I feel like even the large bits I did were still things that I just, I do, you know what I mean? It's like, it's my job. Making trophies and tacky and remover, as well as the stones for the show. These are all things I do. So yes, it was large components of the show when it's all said and done, but at the same time, not so much. Now that being said, I did end up being a judge at the show, which is my second time judging a show. This was a lot more complete and intensive than previous time I had done it. But it was still a lot of fun. I was originally just supposed to go be a spotter loader. And then one of the guys who I met up there was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be a judge and I'm nervous about that. I don't know." And I was just like, "I'll trade with you in a heartbeat." And he was like, "Would you?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, I've spotted loaded shows." And I had zero interest in doing it, but, I'd said I would, so there I was. And yeah, judging was great. It was a lot of fun, especially since the group that I actually got as the judge did heavyweight novice men, lightweight men, and masters. And I mean, lightweight men, that's my guys. That's who that's what I compete at. And then the novice guys, I knew a few of them that were in there, the heavyweight novice. And then in the masters, I knew a number of those guys that were in there too. Actually, I ended up knowing about 3 of them from previous shows and or just the local community. So it was great. It was great being able to be a judge for all of them and do my best to be the kind of judge that I would want, sort of tough but fair, and I did play, I don't want to say loose with certain things, but, kind of like on the novice class, I did cut them a little bit more of a break because it's like, hey, this is probably a few of these guys' first show. And, if you were close enough, I would give it to you. I played the whole tie goes to the lifter, basically. If it was close enough to almost be considered it, I would give it to him. Usually I would give him that one, but with a warning where it was like, hey, the next one needs to be a lot better or else I am going to zero it. I'm going to no-rep you. With that being said, I think there was only 2 or 3 situations all day where that was even a problem. And I mean literally like 2 or 3 out of 40 people I think I was cycling throughout the 3 events that had that group of people with it. Thinking back, I'm like, I think one of them was a sandbag. One of the guys just wasn't getting it high enough up on his shoulder, as I kind of told him the first time he did it needs to be higher. He was doing the whole sort of running it down his arm thing, and I was just like, no, dude, like, it's got to be up higher. Like, you're not going to be able to hold it here. I don't care if you can't hold it out to the side like that. It's got to be on the shoulder. It's supposed to be a sandbag to shoulder. He was cool. Nobody ever gave me any grief. I think there was one guy, he was funny, got 12 reps on the log, and he was like, was that 12 or 13? And I was like, I only counted 12. And then I was like, but hey, if there's an issue, go back and if you've got it on camera, show me when I'm done here and before I turn the score sheet in, I'll make sure it's right. And then we went back, watched the video together. He had gotten 12, and the 13th one was just a little too shy, and then he ran out of time. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't give me that either. So, it's one of those things. That was the other part of it, too, As a judge, I've been to a few shows, I don't want to say a lot, but a few of them where they have this sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? This sort of attitude towards the athletes when it comes to the judges, where basically whatever the judge says goes. And that's just not, that's not right. I mean, the judges are human too, And I don't think the judges should be put up on such a pedestal to where they're just incapable of making a mistake. You know, we've all, anybody who's competed more than once or twice, hell, even if you've just competed once, we've all seen a judging call that we would have considered probably more so an error. Whether it was a free rep or a missed rep, or the timing was just not correct. You know, I've seen it with my own two eyes where a person had done a yoke run, actually, and their score they were given was like 11 seconds. It was like 11.5 or something like that. They had the entire run on video, and the entire video was only 10 seconds. And like even going into like the deep details, it was like 10.2 seconds was the entire video from literally them picking, them running and dropping. And it was like, so how did they add a whole extra second to your time? It didn't really make a ton of sense. You know, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't one of those judges that was like, no, whatever I said on the, you know, the field goes. Like, no, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm human. I can make mistakes. I'm willing to own up to it, but you do need to prove it, you know, because most of the time I'm erring on the side of the lifter anyway. So if a mistake was made, you definitely need to catch up to it because it's one of those things. And then had a great time, the fifth event, which was the Stones. I don't want to say luckily I wasn't judging, but luckily I wasn't judging so I could run the tacky removal station, which gave me an opportunity to get really up close and personal to basically every athlete that was there, and just chat with them, help them clean up, show off how great Lucky Number 7 really is, which it is the absolute best tacky remover on the planet. I will stand by it and I will fight for that title with that product. It is just bar none, just the absolute best you can get your hands on, or get on your hands, really, for removing tacky. And so I mean, that was a lot of fun. That whole weekend was a lot of fun. I don't really remember what happened the week before, but you know what? I'm working through some slight injuries, and then did manage to catch one while I was down there. You know, it's not bad enough that my right biceps tendon has been feeling really bad, but I've been doing tons of rehab work for it, which is basically just like super high sets, super high rep range of like hammer curls, and then some just buffing, like using a buffing wheel on it at night, and just trying to just get blood and vibrations into it as much as I can. And that actually does seem to be helping. I mean, I'm only like 4 or 5 days into it, doing both of those things, and it's already feeling better. So I'm hoping to have that rehabbed before, well, sooner than later, I'll just put it that way. And then I've got a weird palm thing on the left hand right now. No idea what I did. I don't remember hitting anything. I don't remember hitting it on anything. I don't remember anything really bad happening to it, but it has been a few months now. And it's never stopped hurting at the level it hurts right this moment. Like when I squeeze it right now, it hurts. And if I put a lot of pressure on it, it's to the point where it's just like, it literally just makes my hand open because it hurts so much. So I'll be doing some research to figure out how to fix that. But like I said, I was, just wonderfully picked up another injury that had zero to do with lifting or even, arguably my fault. I say it was my fault. I should have been paying attention. But at the same time, like, hey, why don't we do things safely? But what happened was, during the show there was a medley, and one of the implements was a tire, like a truck tire, not even a truck tire, a semi-truck tire. So really thin but really dense. And I believe that particular one was like 150 pounds, and I was standing, and the platform was kind of to my back, and I was telling the athlete, like, here was your time, yada yada. And while they were resetting, I guess the guy slid the tire off and it bounced, and when it bounced, it ended up hitting my calf on my left leg, and just, I swear it wasn't even hard. It just like touched it and just dragged down my ankle and everything. And we're now a week after that, and it's actually the worst it's ever felt and looked a week later. That day, it really hurt. Like, right when it happened, it was like, ooh, this is not good. I didn't chew the guy out. I really wanted to. because it hurt a lot. Instead, I gave him, and he felt bad, like he wasn't being an indignant asshole about it. Like you should have watched out. He was super like, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't think that would happen. I should have been smarter about that. Yada yada. And so I just, I kind of just let it go. But it was like it was really bad. I actually took some like anti-inflammatories, which if you know me, I never take any of that stuff. As silly as it sounds, I just kind of see it as like a slippery slope. Like first you start with anti-inflammatories that make you feel kind of better, and then all of a sudden you take one opioid once just to make yourself feel not in pain, and then next thing you know you're down a bad path. And I'm not saying any of them are. I'm not trying to say Motrin or I'm not saying acetaminophen and what's the other one. Whatever the other anti-inflammatory NSAID is. I'm not saying they're gateway drugs or anything like that. I'm just saying, for me personally, I try to avoid any of that stuff as best I can. Plus, part of it is, pain's not necessarily a bad thing. It's part of life. So it's like, if I want to experience the absolute best parts of life, sometimes you got to experience the bad parts too. It's just kind of the way it is, unfortunately, or fortunately. I mean, if it's, if you don't know how bad it can be, you don't know you don't appreciate how good it can be. But yeah, it was so bad. I took some anti-inflammatories, which maybe those actually helped a ton and just delayed it to the point where because I didn't take any more after that day, and I would say, what were we? So that was just on Saturday. It wasn't until like even yesterday it hurt a little bit more and it was a little more purple and bruised, but it wasn't bad. But when I woke up this morning and I got out of bed and stood up, immediately put weight on that ankle, I was like, oh my God, like it hurts more or about the same as when it like happened. So maybe it's just got to get worse before it gets better, and I'm okay with that. And to rehab that, I've just recently started putting the leg up while I'm laying on the couch with a heating pad on it. Just trying to keep it warm and just keep nutrients flowing to that area. That's probably part of the problem too, because I'm heating it, which is going to increase inflammation, but I'm also just trying to keep the blood vessels and everything in that area just as open as they can be to try to flush it out as much as possible. Which, if that means a little bit more pain now to not have pain later, I'm willing to go through that. The other option would be like contrast baths with it, where I just put my whole foot in like kind of ice water up to the ankle, and then move to the heating pad, and do like 40 minutes on, 40 minutes off, or 20 and 20 and that kind of thing. That could probably work. That might even work better. But as of right now, I'm just doing heating pad and then nothing, and then heating pad again. So hopefully keeping it elevated and all that. This will just heal on its own, and it won't be a permanent thing. It's literally just a really bad bruise. That's just in a really bad spot. That's all there is to it. Yeah, that's all there is to it. It's just a really bad bruise in a really bad spot. So I'm not worried about this anymore, and I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about this right now, that I got to get this right, because this is starting to affect my grip now. Like, I went to pinch grip a 45 bumper plate, and like it hurt to the point where I almost couldn't do it, and I was like, that's not good. I need to be able to do that. So yeah, working on that right now. I'll probably be doing some research this weekend on things I can do to try to rehab that and maybe even figure out what's wrong. I don't think anything's broken. Like, I can move. I have the same abilities in both hands to move everything. It's just this one hurts when pressure's put on the palm. I don't know. Carpal tunnel of some sort. I don't even know how I would have gotten that. It's not like I do a lot of typing or anything, and even the repetitive movements I do, those are more demanding of my back and hips and then kind of this more than my palm. I don't even smack things anymore. I always grab my rubber mallet or a regular hammer if I need to smack something into place. Just because I got tired of beating on shit with my hands. It hurts. But I haven't beat anything with this palm in probably 6 months, So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'll look into it and see what I can start doing to maybe try to find a few different things that might give it some relief. Yeah, see, this still hurts, but it's like, used to kind of go up to like a 6 with like radiating pain constantly. And like right now, when I felt the little kind of pinch, like right there, I feel something. Um, Even that, it's only like a 3. It's really not that bad. Like I could hold this and continue throughout my day, and I would be fine. So that's getting better. Yeah, that's about it. I guess I could talk about training this week. Because of the ankle, I skipped actual squats and just did the squat machine. Sometimes it's referred to as like a bear squat, I think, or even a jump trainer sometimes, and walking lunges. Holy shit! Then Tuesday was pressing. It was kind of rough. I missed a rep, but I felt terrible on Tuesday, probably from the weekend. Honestly, I felt puffy and tired and all that stuff. And then by Thursday, I was feeling a lot better and just did kind of I haven't touched regular deadlifts since the last time I did a regular deadlift. And did a bunch of RDLs into rows and then just a bunch of posterior work, just a bunch of back and hamstring stuff, which is always smart to do just before you're doing axle clean and press, by the way. That's a not pro tip for you kids. Just don't do what I do. I'm going to rearrange my programming because it's really stupid that I do that to myself. I say that, but honestly, the cleans didn't feel bad today. I felt like I had enough explosiveness to get it. I think I was playing in like these like 70% range, something along those lines, for like AMRAPs. And like I said, it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't great either, but like the press felt fine, the cleans felt fine, and it is heavier. So yeah, let's see. We're on week 3. What did we just do? We just did that today. What weight is that? That is 77. Call it 80%. That kind of thing. And I was able to hit it for doubles. I think I did 3 on the last set of the last set. I probably could have done 3 the whole time, but it was one of those like, hey, don't kill yourself right now. Wait till you start feeling better more and more and more. Because sometimes pressing does hurt this tendon here. And luckily the whole time it didn't really hurt. So yeah, everything felt really strong today. Felt good today. Felt good yesterday. I got plenty of stones to pour this weekend. Actually, I've just got 2 gigantic ones to pour, and then a few little guys to finish up. So, work. So yeah, there's your kind of 2 weeks worth of updates. It's for like 18 minutes, about 9 minutes apiece. Even though I didn't really talk about the other week, but doesn't matter. I should be back on schedule. Shouldn't miss anymore. I think I'm in the double digits of missing weeks now. But honestly, over the course of how many years has it been? Like 6. I think that's pretty not very bad. I'm not happy about it, but I'm also not as disappointed about it as one might think. So yeah, learn to forgive yourself if you fail and just get right back on the horse. And if you don't, then what's your excuse?